Welcome to Make Your Mark podcast, where guests share their experiences, insights, and tactics to help you accelerate your business. So building, scaling, and monetizing your business is made easier. And I will be your host, Kay Suthar. Hello, podcast rock stars. And so today I'm going to be talking about video podcasting equipment, because I know this is something that's on people's mind a lot, and they think it's really confusing because when it comes to tech, a lot of people are confused, right? And the fact that there's so much on the internet that gives you recommendations for all sorts of things, it can get really confusing as to what it is that you need right now. And so, as I promised you right from the beginning of this series, is we're going to keep it basic, we're going to keep it simple, and everything that I'm going to suggest to you is going to be value for money as well, because I'm not a believer of spending tens of thousands of dollars or pounds, depending on where you are and where you're listening. But we want to make sure that when you're first starting up, right, that it's all accessible, right? The equipment is accessible. It gives you good quality video as well as sound and all of that good stuff. Now, if later on down the line, as you go on your podcasting journey, your podcast then starts making you money and you want to upgrade your system, then fair enough, go ahead and do that. But right now, we're just going to keep it basic. And so as we are talking about video podcasting, it does mean to consider a couple of more things around video podcasting that you wouldn't necessarily need to think about if it's audio, okay? But remember, guys, we're doing it in video because you're able to then leverage your podcast so much further, right? And this is how you're going to build a know, like, and trust. So if you get these different things set up right now, then you don't need to worry about it. All you do is just click and you record your episodes, and I promise you, you will not regret it. And those people that are just decided to do video wish that they started it from the very beginning, right? From when they first started podcasting, because it would have helped them so much more. They'll be able to leverage it so much more with all the episodes that they've already released rather than just starting it now. But they always say, right, the next best time to start a video podcast is right now if you haven't done it before, right? Because this is where podcast is going. And we all know this because if you're listening to or watching podcasts on Spotify, you can see that there's so many different episodes now, different podcasts that are being uploaded on Spotify in video. So people can actually watch it and they can listen to it on Spotify right there. So what I'm going to be doing here in this episode is explaining step by step all the different things that you need to consider for a video podcast. And so I'm going to go through each component that's needed for a video podcast step by step and explaining what each component does and why you may need to consider these things. All right, firstly, we want to talk about the audio. So you want to make sure that you have a decent mic, that you may want to have like headphones where you can actually hear yourself when you're speaking. So we want to now consider the audio side of things and making sure it's crystal clear when people are actually listening to your episodes and your podcast, because this is something that people do on the go, right? So whether they're at the gym or walking the dog, they'll have their earphones in, their iPods, whatever it may be, and they're listening to the audio version, okay? And so you want to make sure that this is crystal clear. And so when it comes to the audio side of things, I want you to consider an equipment called Vocaster 2, okay? Vocaster 2, it's really a little mini studio, right, that's portable. This is what I love about it. And so it comes with 2 mics, 2 headphones, a little mixer, right? And you can create your own little studio from your own home. It's very lightweight. I mean, it's so portable that if you're going to these networking events or any events that you go to and you find somebody that you want to interview, you can pop it in your bag and you can just pop it out and interview people at all these different networking events that you go to, right? Or seminars or summits, whatever they may be. So this is why I love it. I wish when I was starting out that people told me about all the different equipment. No, I was told to buy hundreds and thousands worth of equipment in order to have a podcast. And so on this journey, I found out that actually is very unnecessary and found out that there's other equipment out there that's really awesome at a valuable price that anyone can start using and set up their podcast. I want to make sure you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Okay. And like I was saying earlier, having thousands of pounds or dollars worth of equipment is not needed right now. So all these suggestions that I'm going to be bringing to you are going to be things that I wish people told me about when I first started out. Okay, and so the Vocaster 2. Now, you're probably thinking, why do I need 2 mics, 2 headphones? Because this allows you to actually interview guests. They do have a Vocaster 1, but that means you can only do solo episodes. And so right from the get-go, I want you to kind of think about the long term, and that if you are eventually going to be interviewing guests, why not have the equipment right now rather than having to pay for another set later on down the line, right? And so having Vocaster 2 allows you to have that option as well. And so you can do solo episodes and you can have guests, right? And like I was saying earlier, if you go into these events, if you go networking events, wherever it may be, you can pop it in your bag. And if you find someone that you think, oh my goodness, I need to have them as a guest on my podcast, then you can ask them to be interviewed there and then, okay? Because we all know how difficult it is to have these guests, chasing them up later on down the line. So let's make it easier for ourselves. And if we find an awesome guest to be on our podcast, then do the interview right there and then. The other thing to consider is if you are going to buy the Vocaster 2, then make sure you get it from the original supplier called Focusrite. I have heard from other people that have used this, that have purchased it from, say, Amazon or other different suppliers, and when they received it, it barely works, right? There's a lot of static, or something's wrong with a cable. Like, there's something that always seems to go wrong when you don't buy it from the original suppliers and buy it elsewhere just because it was cheaper somewhere else, okay? And so I would always advise, make sure that you go and purchase it from the original suppliers, that's Focusrite, and purchase the Vocaster 2 from there. So that way it doesn't kind of give you the hassle of trying to figure out what's going wrong, trying to contact them, contact support, getting another one. Just make it easier on yourself, save time, save money, save the effort and the energy that you'll have to do and the running around, and just get it from the original suppliers. Now, if you already have a mic that works and it's already clear, then that's fine. Then carry on using that one. This is just for people that haven't got a mic and they're looking for suggestions and the right ones, because there's just so many different options out there. And so if you have a mic, carry on using that one as long as you're happy with it and it's very clear on the audio. Okay, the next thing to consider is purchasing an external camera. Now you're thinking, but I already have a camera on my device, whether it be a laptop or your PC, whatever it may be. But the thing is, I find that the camera on devices aren't always that crystal clear. Now, we are talking about video podcasting here, so we want to make sure that when we do eventually put episodes on YouTube, on Spotify, all those great places, you can buy this from Amazon, right? And Logitech cameras are awesome. So you can kind of just scroll through Amazon and see which Logitech cameras that you like, external cameras. Just make sure that the attachment actually attaches to your device. So you may just need to check, if you don't already know, what kind of attachments will actually attach to your device, your PC, to your laptop, and making sure that the cable is actually correct and that you'll be able to use it, and it's just going to be a plug and play. Okay, the next thing is lighting. Now, I know a lot of people out there say, well, why can't I just use the lights in my room? Well, you can totally do that. And in fact, what I would actually suggest that you do is just test it out. So you can go onto Zoom and just check out, right, okay, where is the lighting? Is there shadowing on one side? Where is the windows in your room? Okay, normally if you do have a window in your room, it's great to have the laptop, your PC or whatever, behind the screen. Okay, and so that natural light actually looks really, really good. But then sometimes you never know when you're going to be recording. And so if it's going to be a dull, rainy day and it's really not light out there, like it is in London most of the time, then you may want to think about getting ring lights. Okay, and so I always suggest to people get 2 ring lights, and you can have them one on the left and one on the right, and that will avoid any shadowing. Some people do have one ring light right in front and then behind the screen, which is okay, but then all of a sudden your face is going to be exposed to so much light, you're going to be glowing. And so what I suggest is just trying it out, right, and actually having 2 ring lights left and right in front of you, and so it kind of avoids that huge white light exposure on your face, but gives you enough lighting, right? To make sure that you are very clear on the video, okay? Some people do also like to have lighting in the background as well. If you've got a light switch in your room and you feel that that light and having one ring light gives you enough exposure, is not too much lighting, but there's no shadowing, then you can do that too. Then maybe one ring light would actually be better for you rather than two. So test it out, have a look, see what you look like, and even ask other people on what they think on the lighting as well, and get their perspective on it, and then take it from there. But with the ring lights, it's really easy. You can buy it from Amazon. It's about $20 to $30 for a ring light. It should come with a tripod. That way you can adjust it to height, right? So whether you're sitting down or standing up, you should be able to adjust it so you've got the right exposure at different levels, no matter whether you're sitting or standing. The next thing to consider is looking at your environment. Now, we do not want any dirty dishes or a pile of laundry in the background that people can see when you're doing your episodes, okay? So if you feel like you can maybe, have a wall somewhere in your house where you can put shelves up or potted plant, whatever it may be, to make the background look a little bit nicer, then you can do so. If you feel like you don't have enough space, then maybe consider just getting a divider. Okay, you can get a divider from like eBay, Amazon, a nice little pretty one, put it in the back. That way it hides anything that you don't want people to see. It looks professional, and you can go ahead and start recording your episodes. Or what you could do, and like what I've done, is have a Zoom background, okay? You can find several different Zoom backgrounds online, and so you just pick the one that you like and start using that. And so what I did in the beginning was I tried out several different backgrounds just to see what the kind of reactions I got from my audience, what they liked, what they didn't like. And so the background that I got now has been maybe attempt number 50 of all the different ones that I tried. And this is the one that I've stuck with because this is the one that I get the most compliments from. And so having a Zoom background when you're first starting out, and if you like it, you can carry on using it, is not a problem at all. Remember, people are looking to build a know, like, and trust with you. And so they're really listening to the value that you're giving them. And so making sure that you are seen as being professional, your background is professional, whether you want to use a divider, you want to decorate a wall behind you and use that as your background, or you want to use a Zoom background, that's completely up to you. But making sure that it is neat, it is tidy, and that, it's going to be something that you're proud of spreading, because people are going to start seeing these videos everywhere, because we're going to make sure it's going to be posted everywhere. So you got to be comfortable, you got to look professional. And so maybe consider one of those three things. And so just to recap, you want to make sure that you have the right mic, that you've got the Vocaster too, because that way you can play around and have solo episodes, have guest episodes, and you're not just stuck with doing solo episodes and later on down the line having to buy another piece of equipment that allows you to do that, right? Let's start saving money right now. Once you've done that, you want to look into getting an external camera. Logitech cameras are normally really good. Just make sure that the cable will actually fit into the device that you want it connected to. You want to look at getting some ring lights, okay? Making sure that your lighting is great for when you get up and start doing video recordings. And so having a look at which room you're going to be recording on, the lighting in there, the natural lighting where the window is. And also if you've got lighting in there, switch it on, see where it's best placed, how many other ring lights you may need. You might need just one if you've got really good lighting in that room anyway. And then the last thing to consider is your background, your backdrop. Okay, there might be a room that you can have that you can decorate to make sure that you have a great looking studio at home. In the background, you may want to put plants and lights and all sorts of things up, or you might just want to get a divider if that's not the case, and that's fine too. You can get a divider on Amazon, eBay, several different places online. And also, if a divider isn't an option for you, then just use a Zoom background just like I have. So there's several different things to consider there. And in fact, what I've done is I've put all the links where you can get all these different pieces of equipment with all my different suggestions in the show notes. So make sure you scroll down and click onto those links, because this is exactly what you're going to need to start doing a video podcast. Now, for all of those that have already done an audio podcast, you already probably have the mic. Okay, you've got all that equipment for audio already. So you just need to consider the bits and pieces that you need to have a video podcast so you can transition easily. And so all the information is in the show notes. Also, I do have a gift for you guys. I have created a really short document as to how you can get started with your video podcast in 14 days. What the process looks like in a step-by-step guide. And so I want to gift this to every single one of you that are listening. So if you go to 14daystolaunch.com, you'll be able to download it all and see what you need to do from the very, very beginning stages and how you can actually progress slowly. Now, this is the very basics of starting a video podcast. So making sure that you have all of these steps in place will allow you to ensure that you don't have any gaps missing and that you're able to then not just start your podcast the right way, but you have room to then scale your video podcast as well. So go ahead and grab that document at 14daystolaunch.com. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much. And I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.